I find it quite interesting. Coming from North America, representing the North American customers and talking to a lot of the European operators. And there were some operators outside Europe as well, pretty much across the globe, so there's international representation here. I find it quite interesting to hear different perspectives from operators as well as some of the vendors about a market segment outside of North America and how that relates into some of the stuff we do in US with the US operators. I think the key difference is the geography. From a transport perspective, optical transport perspective, the distance is really a key parameter in defining the network topology. And I find, obviously, that from a geography perspective, US, New York to Los Angeles, you're talking 6,000 plus kilometers versus Europe. I think when you talk to a certain operator, it's in hundreds of kilometers. So in that sense, that basically cascades down into the overall network and how the network topology is defined. And then obviously the overall organization, how the European operators operate between different countries versus different states within one country in US, that's also quite interesting. I think the two big topics that I've heard so far in the conference is the capacity, how we handle bandwidth efficiently in the network, and how the bit rate, the increasing bit rate, 40G, 100G, how that transition is going to happen, and also beyond 100G, what's out there, right? And that's a big theme I saw in the event today. The second part I heard is also the packet optical convergence. There's also a lot of talk about packet optical convergence. A lot of service providers came and talked to me as well. What's our perspectives? And I think that's a big hype, big theme in the event today. We talk a lot about packet optical convergence, and we as a vendor, we have in our portfolio packet optical products. I think the convergence is really the key in defining next generation networks, because it's no longer a service provider can have a compartmentalized networks, one doing optical transport, 40 gig, 100 gig DWDM, one doing IP MPLS layer 3, another group doing layer 2. I think as the challenge for service providers is less capex, less opex, more bandwidth. And when you go into that equation, it's very important for the service provider to figure out how to converge my network. How can I optimize between different layers, different multiple layers of the network? How can I optimize and in return converge? So I think the biggest challenge for the service providers is exactly that. When you do this convergence and try to bring these three layers together, how can I connect the two layers? How can I optimize? Where each layer, how that complements each other? That's going to be the biggest challenge and the biggest complexity for the service provider. Yeah, so Nokia Siemens really believes in, does not really believe in the IP offloading. I think service providers always need the IP layer. They need the layer 1, layer 2. So we believe in the fact that each layer should complement each other. In that sense, the traffic that goes to the IP layer definitely will need to go through the IP layer. So Nokia Siemens believes in, does not believe in that we want to be a router vendor or we want to take the place of a router vendor. We want to work with the router vendors. We want to provide an end-to-end solution that provide an optimized architecture for the service provider. So the solutions we bring into service providers, the options, the tools that we provide to service providers, it's really solutions that complement each other. Again, depending on their unique network architecture, because each operator has their own unique network with its own unique topology, and we provide a solution that complements what's in the network, and also enable the service provider to evolve that to the future converged high-capacity network. I think that's definitely a good tool, good solution. Again, depending on the service provider's architecture. Some operators might elect to do so, and we provide solutions to handle that. but I again go back to the point. It's very much a short-term focused or solution in our eyes, because again you need to look at across layers and figure out how to converge these layers together to get the best optimized solution that's future-proof. And IP over WDM, I think, is simply a band-aid, a patchwork to address a short-term demand, short-term problem, but it's not the solution to the problem.